Okay, so is it working? Fanatic97 says Revenge of the Fallen had more substance. A little. A little bit of lag in the channel there. Ezram says, or Urzum says, yep. Sorry, it looks like I just want to say Ezram. Anyone else having issues? Or is it working again? Raven Fox can see me. Rosie North can see me. Yes! Hooray! So, yes, as I was saying, that was the time machine I found at a yard sale, and I am sorry. Oh my god, that was horrible. Any questions about the movie? And Rosie North can see me. Wonderful. Your apology means nothing, says Angalada. I don't know how to say your name, I'm sorry. Did that studio do any other films, asks Rosie. I don't know. And I don't want to find out. Oh, that was so bad. This is what you're doing to me, time machine I found at a yard sale. It hurts. Why does it exist? I actually heard a fun little rumor that this wasn't supposed to be a movie, but more like a parody of the kind of movies in the science fiction genre you would see during the mid-1950s. If that was the intention, all I had to say is, wow, you guys need to study harder about what it makes to make a good parody. It exists because we let it exist. Yes, we should have stopped it when it was in pre-production, but what could we do? Who was my favorite character, asks Rosie North. Favorite character... I would have to say my favorite character was the belly dancer. Her performance conveyed a level of deep character development that was really kind of lacking in the other characters. I'm just looking at her and I'm thinking, wow, I want to follow her story. I want to learn more about this person. Angelada's favorite character was definitely the sandwich. That's a close second for me. And I have been asked to chug, chug, chug. Okay, okay, okay. It exists to be fodder for Bobsheaux, says Raven Fox. That is absolutely right. The nuns for the Church of Grimace. And now I am embarrassed for not having thought of that joke myself. Brandon Croker asks, could a Doc Brown cameo save it? The original Doc Brown could. The modern Doc Brown, probably not. He is too busy appearing in horrible things like Food Fight, and he is also too busy being frozen today. So that's not going to work. Raven asks, since my favorite character is the belly dancer, she should be jealous? No, she should not. For reasons I can't really get into right now. Rosie asks, not when you realize it was a belly dancer in the movie Time Machine I found at a garage sale. Okay, so we have an hour and 10 minutes left in my 5,000 subscriber livestream event. So, shall we go back to the casual hangout time that we were going into earlier? My favorite character was the clock, says Brandon Croker. I too am a fan of the ending credits. They delivered a lot for the movie. And Logan McDowell's favorite character was somebody named Yee! Alright, so... anybody have any questions for me? Just throw them out. Raven asks a question for the audience. What is your favorite Bobsheaux review? Of course, Tentaclino and Romeo and Juliet Sealed with a Kiss have to be up there on everyone's favorites. And the Alpha and Omega series. Oh dear. And we're only halfway over with that. And Rosie is commenting on the fact that Romeo and Juliet was animated by one person. Yes, that is incredibly mind-blowing. Really goes to show you what you can do when you put your mind to it. Just make sure that it's working first. But let's see. My top 5 favorite reviews. Little car swimming out of towing. Nice. Hey Bob, did you read the current IDW comics? I do not right now. And yes, Brandon, yes, Lily does make everything better. Do I read the current IDW comics? I do not. Do you mean current as in happening as of right now, or is current a title that I don't know of? I noticed that the word current that you typed was capitalized, so I don't know what's up with that. But no, if current is the title, I don't read it. I'll pray for you for next week's review, says Brandon. Thank you. I will need all the help that I can get. And of course, Raven's favorite one is Starship Troopers because, yes, that was her request, and I released it just before we started dating. Ah, that's more clear. Am I reading titles like More Than Meets the Eye and Robots in Disguise? And yes, Robot and Penguin Girl, you do see a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back there, number 1. Just one question at a time here. Please, people. I don't read the IDW Transformers comics because it's a weird thing. I don't know if this is just me or if anyone else feels this way too, but I'm reading these comics, and I can't help but feel this is just the B story. This is only something that's happening on the sidelines while the real story is happening somewhere else, if that makes sense. Don't quite know how to explain it a lot beyond that, but it's kind of like the comics that came with the last line of Generations Transformers figures. Each Transformer toy would come with a comic, which you would think would be more about the characters that they come with, and more often than not they were. But they were also all building up to some bigger story in the background that I couldn't quite piece together by reading this particular comic. So it's like, okay, I'm reading, but what's happening here? I don't really know. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. But yeah, the modern IDW Transformers comics, hard to get a grasp on what's really happening here. Logan McDowell asks, what are my favorite bands? Sadly, my tastes in contemporary music are kind of limited. My absolute favorite performer is Weird Al. Love him. But for the most part, I tend to listen to film scores. Danny Elfman, John Williams, James Horner, people like those. Love them. But actually, there is one musician who I really love, and sadly, she doesn't get a whole lot of recognition. A singer by the name of Laura Turner, who is actually on YouTube, if you want to give her a look-see. I suggest you look for Laura Turner, Soul Deep. Look for that song. You will be amazed, I promise you. You can never go wrong with Weird Al. No, you cannot. Brian Rodriguez asks, what is the creepiest character you have ever witnessed in your reviews? And in the sense that the character is so badly written or animated they give you nightmares for days. I'll answer that question in a second. As of right now, Megatron's capturing a ship of Autobots in Cyclonus, and he's in a state of perpetual facepalm. That actually sounds kind of interesting. Oh, and I see that we have one of my new patrons in the audience today. Hey Bob, you're awesome, says Luke Jeffers. Thank you, Luke. You're awesome too. Thank you for contributing to my show. But Brian Rodriguez asks what the creepiest character in my reviews I've ever witnessed. Let's see. Creepiest character. I'd say I would have to go back to the very beginning and say the Mad Hatter from Batman Through the Looking Glass. And yeah, the Mad Hatter can already be kind of a creepy character depending on how he's written, but to make him look like Herbert from Family Guy, that was just the icing on the creepometer cake for me. And Raven is informing me via Skype that I missed a couple of questions, so if you guys would like to toss those questions out again, please do so. Sorry, they're just piling on so quickly, I don't know what to do with them. It's weird being popular in this kind of medium. I've never experienced this before. What do? I can't handle it! Ah. But Megatron's an Autobot in the comics. Interesting. I'm going to jot down some of these questions before I lose them. Let's see, favorite voice actor, favorite online personalities, have I seen Meet the Feels, Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And thank you for being a fan of my show ever since Oz Month, Mr. Jeffers. That had a lot of work put into it. Okay, so I think I got a good... Oh, thoughts on new Star Wars. Okay, thoughts on new Star Wars. Okay, please hold all questions now. I think I have a good couple of questions to go off of here. Who are my favorite voice actors? Let's see. Favorite voice actors? Well, of course, I've got to be a big fan of Scott McNeil, who I mostly know from Beast Wars. He played everyone from Silverbolt to Waspinator to Dinobot. Just great. And of course, for all my emulating on my show with this voice, I do have to enjoy some Mr. Mark Hamill, don't we? Let's see. And of course, you can't go wrong with Frank Welker. The guy is... Let's see, I think he's in his 50s, his 60s now, but he's still playing Fred from Scooby-Doo. He's still being a teenager in spite of his age. And how do you go from being this tiny little nibbler monster on Futurama, and then in the next moment he can be Megatron, leader of the Decepticons? Yeah. And Angelada says that Panthy is a hero for our time. Yes, he is. I agree. And of course, if I'm talking about Frank Welker, I kind of have to mention Peter Cullen, don't I? The guy is amazing. He is Optimus Prime. And actually, about him being Optimus Prime, here's something kind of interesting. He apparently takes the role of Optimus Prime really, really seriously. So seriously, in fact, that when he was approached by Seth Green of Robot Chicken and asked if he wanted to play Optimus for one of their skits, he had to decline, because he thought it was beneath the character. He thought it was too silly. And so they just had to go with one of their own voice actors for that part. Well, using the whole fist, Doc? Now, we Transformers don't have organic internal organs and can't get cancer. But you do, and you can. So, yeah, apparently Peter Cullen has great respect for Optimus Prime. As well he should. Optimus is a great character. And he has so much respect for Optimus Prime that he had to play Optimus in the Michael Bay films. Think about that for a second. The guy who's pontificating about how there's so much good in humanity. Are we really so like them? And then he's stomping around in Sam's backyard like an idiot, and he says, and I quote, "Sorry, my bad." Exactly. No, says Instant Jelly. Okay. So, yeah. Those are just a handful of my favorite voice actors. Oh. And I'm also a big fan of Corey Burton. Anybody who can fill in the shoes for Paul Frees when playing the Ghost Host for Disneyland's Haunted Mansion Holiday, that is great. Favorite online personalities? I would have to say one of my absolute favorites is Linkara from Atop the Fourth Wall. It's kind of funny. I'm inspired by a lot of people when putting together my own show. One of the more obvious being the Nostalgia Critic, although I do take inspiration from Linkara, Spoonie, the Cinema Snob, a couple other people. What's really interesting is that I started out doing comic reviews, and some people have said that I am tackling some comics that Linkara would never touch. But it's interesting, I've gotten a few accusations of being a ripoff of the Nostalgia Critic, but nobody ever accuses me of ripping off Linkara. I wonder why that is. Oh god, you got him talking about Transformers. Hope you packed a snack, says Raven Fox. It's okay, Raven. I understand that I cannot spend the entire live stream talking about Transformers. I could, but I'm not gonna. I've said my piece, and I am moving on. Okay? Welcome to Bobsheaux, where bad comics and movies get the box. Bob's gonna teach you all a lesson Bay needs to learn. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's supposed to be a lyric from my theme song, isn't it? Welcome to Bobsheaux, where bad comics and movies get the box. Bob's gonna teach you all a lesson Bane needs to learn. Okay, I'm done. Have I seen Meet the Feebles? I started to see it, but then I had to take a break after seeing a fly character eating a big old lump of crap out of a toilet that hadn't been flushed. And all I can do is look back on this movie and think, really, Peter Jackson? Really? You are a nice, calming soul who is better than Linkara. Never mind. Not a ripoff at all. Oh, thank you, Rosie. Nice of you to say so. Let's see. Thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie? I am sorry for being this far behind on the pop culture bandwagon here, but I have never seen Five Nights at Freddy's, nor have I played it. I saw this one Let's Play that Fedora of Oh the Horror was doing, actually, and I was watching him play the game, and I really couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. I mean, okay, from what I could gather, you're a security guard or something, and you're watching over this kids' entertainment venue where the robots look a lot creepier than they should for some reason, and you have to stop them from sneaking up on you? Why do you not just cut the power? I don't understand how this works, but then again, I haven't played it, so I just don't know. But, actually, I think I just read something earlier today that it's only been a year since the conception of Five Nights at Freddy's. Is that correct, anybody? I'm not alone in having never played Five Nights at Freddy's. Thank you, Robotnik Penguin Girl. Yeah, I think I read just today that the concept of Five Nights at Freddy's is only a year old, and they're already getting a movie after, what, 4 or 5 games in a year? It's like, yikes. Although, just a series of jump scares, I guess it's going to work as it's happening, but will it stand the test of time as one of the great horror films of our age? Who can say? I don't know. Let's see. New question for me to jot down here. Thoughts on the new Star Wars films? I am very, very enthusiastic about it. And even more so, not because of anything I've seen in the movie itself, but because of some behind-the-scenes footage I saw on IMDb a couple of months ago. Of course, we have the original cast on it, and we have the original ships from the original trilogy, and a slight variation on the old stormtroopers. Everything's looking great. Everything looks very, very much like Star Wars, and that is very important. The prequel trilogy was technically Star Wars, but it deviated so far away from what we'd seen before, it was nigh unrecognizable. So, yeah, aesthetically, they're keeping it very close to what the original trilogy was, which is great. But also, one thing which I am particularly fond of, they are using as many practical effects as possible. They're the whole point of that footage that was on IMDb some months ago was just to show us that there were sets. There are puppets. There is makeup. There is as much practicality as possible, and that's great. If you feel like you can just reach out and touch what's in the movie, then you've done what Star Wars did decades ago. Raven is calling my attention to something. Bob mentioned that there are 2 other chat boxes in this live stream that you aren't reading, and that everyone put their comments into that one in the middle of the page. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Again, this is my first time doing something like this, so I just don't know what I'm doing here. There's another chat window here, apparently. You got to touch. Do, 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 do. What other chat window is there that I'm not seeing, Raven? I don't know. Stand by, everybody, while I figure this out. Raven? So the post. Two other chat rooms, one above and one below the one you're reading. Whoa. Okay, so there are apparently two more chat rooms there that I was completely unaware of. I am so sorry, everybody. I am totally ignorant of this and how it works, so, I have got a lot to catch up on here. So many chats. Yes, Raven saved the day. Ooh, here's an interesting question from a Matthias da Silveira, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. What do you think about a history teacher watching your reviews and telling the students to watch you? That is an interesting question. Is this my history teacher father sharing my work with his students because he thinks I'm funny and wants to show off his son's abilities? Or is this some other random history teacher who wants to show off what I'm doing because what I'm having is some kind of value? Matthews is fine? Okay. And Raven is going to help me with copying the questions into something that I can keep better track of. Thank you, baby. Yes. If there's a teacher out there who's showing off my work, I've got to ask, what reviews is he showing? Because I'm curious now. Thoughts on the Sharknado movies? That is a question I'm going to not answer, because the answer is in my next review, which I will be uploading immediately once this live stream is over. So, stay tuned for that. Let's see. John Lovitz versus Chevy Chase dog. I would have to say definitely the John Lovitz dog, because at least John Lovitz is interesting. I know I'm pissing off some Chevy Chase fans out there, but sorry, the guy's voice is just so bland. It's like, hey, I'm a dog, and I'm talking with Chevy Chase's voice. As opposed to John Lovitz, I'm a talking dog! There you go. Thoughts on the Terminator series? Oh boy. I'm going to be in trouble with this one. The only Terminator film I've seen from start to finish was the third. I've seen little bits of 1 and 2 here and there, but I have not seen the Terminator franchise in its entirety, so I'm really not one to ask about that. Chevy Chase is better as a family man? Possibly, but in the movies I've reviewed, I've got to go with John Lovitz. Brandon Kroger asks if there are any impressions that we are not aware of that I can do. I don't know. Name one. This is so awkward. Why are there 3 chat windows? Oh, Matthews was showing off my Video Brinquedo reviews as part of his class for Brazilian cinema. Wow, thank you. Nice to know that I'm part of somebody's teaching curriculum like that. Brandon is asking me to do Gollum, and Raven is asking me to do Joker. Allow me to get into character here.
You cannot do Gollum. You cannot do his voice. Yes, we can. We can do Gollum.
Those chat rooms are Hydra, cut off one head, more something, but that makes sense. Now for the Joker. Why don't we start things off with the very beginning? Have you heard this one? It'll kill you, Batman! Well, Tony. Nobody wants a war. If we can't do business, why, we'll just shake hands and that'll be it. Yeah. Woo! Woo! Oh, I got a live one here. Oh, there'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. Antoine got a little hot under the collar here. Oh, wow, I'm seeing myself in the playback window here, and I look weird. And now for Raven's personal favorite Joker. For it's the Batman who made me the happy soul I am today. How I've agonized about how I wanted to thank him for that. Perhaps with an exploding whoopee cushion. Playfully placed neatly in the Batmobile. Let's see. Oh. And of course, how could we forget our dear friend, Mr. Ledger? The one Joker no one had any faith in. And now, he's the standard. Why so serious? Thank you. Do the Penguin, says King Denominator. Well, I suppose, if you want me to do the Penguin, you didn't ask me which one you wanted to see, did you? A penguin is a bird that cannot fly! I am a man! I have a name! Oswald Cobblepot! Tim Allen or Heath Ledger? What do you mean? The Iceman cometh! There you go. There's my freeze. Did you ever hear a Brazilian HQ called Monica's Gang? If yes, do you think you could try doing a review? Monica's Gang? I'm going to jot that down as a suggestion here. Suggestions. Monica's Gang. There we go. Thank you for that. Oh. And, it appears... And it appears I am skipping over a very, very big question that was posed to me. Which Tim Burton movie do I think is the worst? Well, of course, I make it no secret that I'm a huge fan of Tim Burton, and I love all of his movies. Even the ones that aren't as good as the others. And there are some which aren't as good as the others. Um, but the worst Tim Burton movie. Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to forget about the other chat box, Raven. There's just so many going on here. I don't know what to do. And do Gotham's Alfred. I'll get to that in a minute. Gotta rest my voice a little bit for that one. Just a sec. But the worst Tim Burton movie. In my opinion, the worst Tim Burton movie is actually one of his best. And that movie is Big Fish. And I'm saying that as a fan. I am saying that as someone who loves that movie. It is a good movie. It is a great movie. Fun little artistic piece. Why do I think it's the worst? Because time was Tim Burton was basically just doing movies for fun. He was making essentially live-action cartoons. There's Pee-wee, there's Beetlejuice, there's Batman, there's Mars Attacks, there's Sleepy Hollow, a whole bunch of fun movies, with a couple of more serious ones in the mix. There's Edward Scissorhands, there's Ed Wood. All of these are more artistic than some of his other works, which were primarily made for entertainment purposes. But then comes Big Fish, and it's amazing. And very artistic. And it kinda set a standard for him, which I think personally may have hurt his career. He made movies after that like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Corpse Bride, and it was a little hard for audiences to get really on board with those movies. Of course, we got a remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Of course, everyone's going to love the original more than Burton's film, so that can't be avoided. But it seems like ever since Big Fish, it's getting harder and harder for him to make movies just for the sake of having fun. He is an artist, and he does need to put his art into everything that he does, but it's like since Big Fish came around, it's like it's getting harder and harder for him to make movies that aren't high art, if that makes sense. It's a good movie, but I think it kind of hurt him in a way, if that makes sense. Get some booze, Henny ass, Brandon Croker, always. And I'm probably going to need some looser vocal cords for this one. Before I went on that little thing about Tim Burton's worst movie, it was suggested that I should do an impersonation of Alfred from Gotham. Well, I suppose if I'm going to do Alfred, I should build up to him, so we really know what Alfred really was in the last several decades. It all started with Jack Napier. He was always there to aid Batman and Robin in everything that he could. And then we move over into the Tim Burton movies. Shall I persuade you to take a sandwich with you, sir? I'm Alfred Pennyworth, a gentleman's gentleman, and I'm always going to be there for everything that you need, Master Bruce. And then we have the Christopher Nolan movies, starring Michael Caine. Alright, anything else I can do for you, sir? Very good, Master Wayne. And now, we have Gotham.
You stupid little bastard! Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is not Alfred. This is not the guy who's been raising young Master Wayne ever since childhood so he can become the Batman. It's not right.
I know a lot of people love him, but I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. Would I ever review Valiant? That is actually on the list, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Cars Live 2 and 3, those are coming too. Don't you worry. Oh boy. My favorite Pixar film. Favorite Pixar film... I would have to say either Toy Story 3, for its ability to really hit the 20-year-olds who grew up with Toy Story right where it hurts, or WALL-E, because a lot of it is told in total silence. It looks like someone just took some old silent film and made it into CGI with robots. It's really interesting seeing them get that much of emotional delivery out of a box with arms, and essentially only one expression. Cause you look at Wally's face, he's just got this going on. I'm Wally and I look sad. But you get the right kind of animators behind him, and he can do anything. Just on a technical standpoint, Wally is brilliant. I still need to see Inside Out, but that's definitely on the list. As is Ant-Man, I gotta make a mental note to watch those 2 movies. Weird when I do it, says Instant Jelly. Why, yes. Yes, it is. Let's see, were there any other questions I missed out on? I'm being informed that Italian Monster is causing some kind of trouble in the chat room. Italian Monster, I haven't been paying attention to what's been going on, but if you're causing trouble, please stop. Thank you. Fanatic97 asks what I think of the new RID cartoon. I have not seen any of it, actually. I did see all of Transformers Prime, and I thought it was amazing. I thought, okay, that is what the movies needed to be. If anyone else has seen Prime and thought that's what the movie should be like, recommend RID to me, and I shall check it out. But just looking at it, I'm thinking, ooh, no, it looks too much like Transformers Cybertron, and that's bad. I don't want to see that. But if it's good, then recommend it to me, please. I did not write down to give Scruffy a watch, Zenoa, but I probably should since I got something open, shouldn't I? Suggestions, Scruffy, whatever that is. Let's see, do I have any favorite animated TV shows? Animated TV shows, I am a big fan of Batman the Animated Series, and actually The Batman from 2004, which I think has more of a bad rap than it deserves. Thoughts on the Birdemic movies? I have still yet to see Birdemic 2, so I have no idea what that's all about, but the first Birdemic, love it! It is the most wonderful piece of crap ever made. I want to talk about a major spoiler here for the first Birdemic movie. Has anybody not seen Birdemic, and do they care if the movie is ruined? It's okay, Instant Jelly. If you're holding lots of pee, you can go to the bathroom. Have I ever considered doing a crossover with Runescape Music Man 2? Yes. I am trying to do a collaboration with The Dog Who Saved Easter, or at least I would like to. So, there we go. What was I saying before? Oh, yes. Does anybody care about me spoiling Birdemic? Which is worse, Tentaclino or Alpha and Omega? I will save that for next year. Thank you for suggesting that. Oh, and by the way, even though I did say in my last Which is Worse that the Transformers movie was a far worse film than Tentaclino, I will still be asking in my anniversary videos which is worse, this or Tentaclino. There's a very specific reason for that, which you will have to see when the time finally comes. And it appears nobody cares about me spoiling Birdemic, so great. Here we go. Apparently, the birds in Birdemic are attacking everything made by humanity because of global warming. It doesn't matter what side of the global warming debate you're on, that is the dumbest thing ever thought up of for a movie. The birds are attacking cars and gas stations because they're somehow aware of their contributions to the global warming epidemic. How do the birds know how to target cars and gas stations? Seriously, how do they know? Somebody tell me. Fanatic 97 has seen stupider. Do tell. Never heard of Misty Island Rescue? I will jot that down. Better than worms learning how to boogie, says Archer Slam Bam. Maybe. Still have to see that one, too. I have not seen Disco Worms. I will add that to the list. How some people think of concepts for movies, I will never know. Daily Safari is on the list too, so you don't need to worry about that, King Denominator. Brandon Croker asks, the favorite drawing I've made. There was this one class I had, 2D drawing, where you're basically just learning different drawing techniques and all that. And the final assignment was to pick any one of our assignments that we did previously in the class and replicate that particular lesson that we did into a new piece of work. I somehow misinterpreted what the professor was saying, and I heard it as we're supposed to be taking everything that we've learned and compiling it into one project. So here I am with absolutely no idea of how to do that. And actually, I find that if ever I find a problem that I don't really know how to fix, I find a way to make the problem the solution. Here I am with a drawing to make, and I don't know what to do. So I decide to make a drawing of myself not knowing what to draw. I draw a cartoon version of myself, all slumped over in my desk, all sort of, oh, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. And all around me are images of the projects that we worked on earlier in the class, just haunting my subconscious, flooding all the space around me, leering over me. They're demanding that I draw them, and in the way that they were drawn the first time. And at the very bottom of the image, it simply says, "No pressure." I think that's gotta be one of my favorites right there. Just for the sole reason that I was able to take a problem and make that problem the solution itself. Let's see. Zenoa suggests I see missing links or Thunder in the House of Magic. Oh, those sound very, very awkward. Let's see. Missing links. Thunder in the House of Magic. Do I have any movie ideas? Asks Instant Jelly. Sadly, there are too many movies that I have ideas for, and you've already seen them. I wanted to reboot the Batman franchise. I wanted to make The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I wanted to make Into the Woods. I wanted to make The Haunted Mansion. Everyone's taking my movies! But, actually, there is one movie that you guys are going to have to keep an eye out for. I'm going to make a short film very soon about the origin of the box. So, keep an eye open for that one when it comes out. Russell Madness movie suggestion. Alright, I'll get that down. Save this as Livestream comments. And there are a few other instances of... I'm using the wrong words. There are some other pieces that I am very proud of, actually, art-wise. You can see them on DeviantArt, actually. There's one called Afterglow. It is... Fans of the online webcomic Sabrina Online are going to be a little confused about why they would see Richard being all cuddled up with Zigzag when he should be with Serena. There's a little bit of a story in that. I actually made that as a gift for Raven Fox, and just seeing her eyes light up and tear at the same time when she saw it, it was just very special. So glad you liked it, baby. What is my DA? My DA is... What's the easiest way to reach that? Let me get a new window open here. Slash Bobsheaux. No, that's not it. Hang on. Yeah, there it is. My DeviantArt is bobsheaux.deviantart.com. And Raven just wrote that down. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Don't need that window open anymore. And yes, before you say anything, Raven, I know I do need to update that. I got so many art pieces and title cards piling around that I just gotta update it soon. Tobias and the Half Pariah. Never heard of that. Just trying to get down. Half Pariah. Wow, this is great. So many suggestions being thrown at me. I love it. The worst Adam Sandler movie ever made. I'm hearing some pretty bad things about Pixels, actually. I wouldn't know. I'm not really following Adam Sandler. But, the worst of his movies that I've seen was something I can't even remember the title of which. It was... Actually, it was some independent film. He was some tortured romantic lead or something. I don't know. It was just so out of place. I mean, you can see that he was definitely trying to act here. He wasn't being his usual Adam Sandler-ness, but it was just off-putting, you know? Caitlin asks what my favorite color is. I am actually torn on what my favorite color is. My favorite color is either black or the deep maroon that we see on my jacket here. And just by sheer coincidence of coincidences, the room that I'm currently living in has 3 out of 4 rooms all done up in this color. Last movie I saw in the theater, Brandon Croker? Last movie I saw in the theater was actually Jurassic World. And... which brings up an interesting point of conversation. If I go to see a movie in theaters, and I end up using a pirated version of the movie in my review of it, what exactly is the faux pas? I've given the movie my money, and now I want to talk about it and encourage more people to give the movie more of their money. What's the problem? What have I done? Especially when you consider that reviews are supposed to be fair use, so what's the harm? Think I could handle Balto or Open Season to review? Balto, a child's play. Although I have not seen the sequels, so let's see what that can bring us. Let's see. Balto, sequels, or what? What else? Open Season. I have not seen that, but I've heard terrible things, so we'll just see where that takes us. Do you think that Predacons Rising is a possible review? It's good, but I felt it a bit lackluster. I suppose we'll have to see. I actually thought that Predacons Rising was part of the last season of Transformers Prime, wasn't it? I don't know. But Predacons Rising, if you guys suggest I take a look at it, then I shall take a look at it. Because I love paying attention to the suggestions that my audience makes. Using pirated movies and reviews just gives the movies more exposure, positive or negative. I don't see a problem, says Raven. Me neither. Must be a Bobsheaux! Here's a video I want to show you when you're done from my old pal Marshall Brown. I was a special guest at the time. Are you asking me to review a video that you were in, Luke Jeffers? Or are you just pointing to another review that you were a part of? Grave of the Fireflies and Barefoot Jen. Never heard of them. On the list. Grave of the Butterflies. Fireflies, not butterflies. What am I talking about? Grave of the Fireflies. Barefoot Jen, right. I couldn't make 15 minutes into the nut job, says King Denominator. The nut job. That was certainly an interesting experience. I'm watching it, and I recognize that a lot of what the characters are doing is in fact funny. So why am I not laughing? I am finding the humor humorous. It's comical. Why am I not laughing? I don't know. Oh man, so many suggestions. Love it. I wouldn't know how to review Babe. I mean, it's so much easier to comment and make fun of the bad stuff, but you get a good movie like Babe, and it's like, what do you do? I mean, it's good to talk about movies that are good but are a little bit more obscure, like this last Halloween I was talking about Freaks and Madhouse, both of which, both of which are good movies, or at least good in my opinion, but they're so obscure it's easy to talk about it more, as opposed to something like Babe, which everybody's seen. I could give it a try, though there's no guarantee it would actually work. Let's see, just kind of jot this down real quick. Hanna-Barbera movies. Speaking of Hanna-Barbera, one of these days I need to review the TV show SWAT Cats. That was too much fun right there. My favorite character from The Nightmare Before Christmas? Jack. He is the best at motivating himself. If he's down in the dumps, he just kind of talks himself out of it. Oh, I'm sad, but I can find something new. Oh no, I've ruined Christmas, but I learned something from it. Huzzah! SWAT Cats, hell yeah! Woo. SWAT Cats is getting a reboot? I don't know how to feel about that. Let's see. 30 Cents asks me to review the Fantastic Four movie. Which one? Are we talking about the new one that just came out? Are we talking about the older one with Chris Evans? Or are we talking about the really, really old one from 1990 that was made by the worst, or one of the worst directors of all time, Roger Corman? Yeah, Raven Fox tells Matthews, if you say anime, Bob's brain shuts off. That's not entirely true, it's just that my brain doesn't really know what to do with anime. All the Fantastic Four movies, oh boy. I smell one more theme month coming up. All the Fantastic Four movies. God. Oh, you guys hate me and I love it. Brandon suggests I do Tusk for Bobsheaux. Interesting. Again, another movie that I haven't seen, but I've heard nothing but bad things about, so color me intrigued. Oh my god, Brandon is bringing the pain. Yes, he is. Racing Stripes. Was that horse racing movie starring a zebra played by Malcolm in the Middle? Multiple theme months a year. Oh yeah, great. Oh dear. I saw a little bit of the movie Rubber. Apparently it's about some kind of a sentient tire that runs around killing people. I only saw like 5 minutes of it. I was too far into the middle of the movie to really get a sense of what was happening and why, but it was interesting. Thoughts on Watership Dog and the Plague Dogs? Never saw it. If I should review those. Water ship down. Plague Wars. Alright, and we are... and according to King Denominator, stupid! Rubber is so stupid! You watched Rubber in history class. Really? Plague Dogs. Sorry, I misspoke. Plague Dogs. That makes more sense. John Carpenter's Christine. I don't know about that. And Raven is giving me a little plug for my Patreon. Thank you, sweetheart. That's a big help. Wow, more suggestions and recommendations than I know what to do with. Alright, we got 10 minutes left before we gotta call it quits here. Last minute suggestions, throw them out while you can. Darkwing.comics, comic recommendations. Great, I could always use more of those. Robert Rodriguez shorts. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's almost time to go. No. Scooby-Doo 2, Get Fuzzy. G.I. Joe meets the Transformers. Oh my. From Dreamwave. Inside Out. Da, 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 da. Curse the Were-Rabbit. Can't go wrong with Wallace and Gromit, can't you? Doc Hollywood. Catface. This is Catface. Chicken Run, maybe. Last Stand of the Wreckers. AEW. Space Chimps. Oh god. Calvin and Hobbes. That would be tough. Because again, how do you review something that good for more than just simply saying, this is good, you should be reading this. Why aren't you reading this? Stop watching this video and go read it. Don Bluth month, there you go. Grief. Fantastic Mr. Fox, that is actually on my list of things to do. Yes, thank you, Raven. If I don't see your suggestions by the time this chat is over, you can just send me whatever suggestions you want at bobsheaux@gmail.com. Again, sorry for all the pain. Never apologize for giving me pain. Don't. Because if I'm hurting, that means that you guys are entertaining. Or being entertained. You're all in love with my pain. The Wild. Phantom Tollbooth, what is that? Spice World. Oh my goodness. Just gonna make a quick phone call here. Yeah, hello, 90s kid. Someone suggested that I do Spice World. You wanna come onto my show for a cameo? He says, dude, he's sorry, but he can't make it. Oh well. Thanks anyway for your time, 90s kid. I tried. Lorax, The Alamo, Cars 2. Yes, I do need to talk about Cars 2, don't I? Hotel for dogs. Oh boy. Alright, everyone. I'm afraid it is time to wrap things up. Thank you all for your suggestions. And anything that I haven't jotted down here, do, again, feel free to email me everything that you want me to review. And, in all seriousness, I would like to say thank you guys for joining me on this little live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that I was having a lot of fun riffing on that god-awful piece of crap. Who made that movie? Why did they make that movie? But I'm glad that you guys had as much fun as I did. And I'd like to propose a toast to all of you watching, and to everyone who's going to be watching this on YouTube when I get this all uploaded there too. Thank you for tuning in, and here's to my next 5,000 subs on YouTube. Really. Thank you guys for being the best audience that a guy like me could ask for. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you later.